Good day! This is Teacher Rowan. I'll be your guide in exploring Google Apps for education, for teaching and learning. In Google for Education, teachers can connect and collaborate easily while staying on task. It gives teachers the freedom to spend more time personalizing the learning experience and less time managing it. Students can learn essential skills such as 21st century problem solving, which they can use it in their future careers. As such, the accessibility features will also help and assist every learner to do their best work. Google offers different useful applications that we can use to connect education to technology. This will help our teachers as a 21st century educators to innovate and find ways on how to make teaching and learning more exciting, engaging, effective, and flexible to the demands of the society. Let's re-explore the education experience by discovering new angles to create, collaborate, and communicate as one. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Ang pagkatuto huwag gawing komplikado. Sulong edukalidad.
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETUlay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETUlay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICT's Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del P. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na Pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETUlay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Hello, a blessed Tuesday po sa lahat. Welcome to our 5th week ETUlay online tutorial for health optimizing physical education 4 for our senior high school grade 12 students. Magandang umaga po sa lahat ng mga learners, parents, and teachers. Again, I am Tutor Shen, and I'm your Hope for tutor that will assist and guide you understand more the activities and the lesson for this subject. Please remember our schedule. Ito po ay every Tuesday from 11 o'clock to 12 noon. Please do not forget to like and share the following Facebook pages for our ETUlay online tutorial. For Hope 4 and other subjects, we have their DepEd Edtech Unit, DepEd Philippines, and DepEd Tayo. Also, you can subscribe sa following YouTube channels like DepEd Edtech Unit and DepEd TV. So once again, good morning po sa lahat. And at this moment, let me greet my dear students and viewers for today. Yeah, good morning, Chilian Makaya. And also we have their Lucky Shervo. Good morning sa'yo. So from Servo Mahusay. We also have Precious Santos. Good morning. We have their Crystal Ann Moquete. Okay, Precious. And then we also have Charmine Crispino. Good morning din sa'yo. Good morning po sa lahat ng ating viewers for today. And welcome again and again to our Hope for ETUlay online tutorial. This time, let's have a quick review regarding our last week lesson. Could you still remember our week 4 lesson? Yes, our topic was about analyze physiological indicators applied to outdoor swimming and camping. So are you guys ready for our review? We're going to have a picture analysis. Okay, good morning, Pensio Nicolas. Also to Albert Liquigan for Cagayan Valley. So I hope you are ready. Well, all you have to do is you have to analyze the given pictures here. Now you can see there two pictures. And then I want you to come up with a word related with our previous topic. Okay. Now we have here two objects. Okay. Two pictures. If you combine these two, what do we have? Anybody who can answer this? Yes. Your answer is, yeah, we have there camping. So for the cam, and this one is ping. Yes, we talked about camping last week, and we also deal with the different things that you have to bring when you are going to engage yourself to camping activity. Let's have another one. Now, if you're gonna combine these 5 pictures, what word can you think of? Aside from camping, we also deal with this. Can you guess what is this word? All right. The answer is, if your answer is physiological, then you got it correct. Yes, we talk about physiological indicators as well last week. Let's have another word. Please combine these pictures. So this is one physiological indicator that you have to to bear in mind when you engage to physical activities. Now, can you guess what is this? Kung ang sagot nyo po ay yes, heart rate, then that is correct. Now, let's move on to the next set of pictures. Another physiological indicators. Okay, while waiting for your answer, let me commend Maria Ramos. Yes, her answer was heart rate. Okay, how about this 2 pictures? What do we get if we combine this one? The answer is, we have there pacing. Okay, that's good. And then let's have the last one. Can you think of these physiological indicators? Now we have here, the answer is, yes, that's correct. We have there exertion. So those are examples of physiological indicators. When you are going to engage, you have to bear in mind if you're going to engage to a moderate or vigorous physical activities. We have their heart rate, okay, exertion, yung RPE, and we also have there the pacing. Now let's continue our review with a fact or bluff regarding the recreational activity or activities that we've discussed last week. So remember, I know you know this activity. If the statement is correct, then you have to answer fact. Meanwhile, if the statement is incorrect, then your answer will be bluff. Let's have the first statement. Backcountry camping is also known as car camping. Is this a fact or bluff? So can you please type in your answer sa ating comment box? Is backcountry camping known as car camping? What is your answer? Yes, the answer is bluff. Very good. Now, remember, car camping, it's similar, or what is known as car camping is the front country camping. Let's have another one. Let me read the statement. Age is a factor in knowing your resting heart rate and maximum heart rate. Is this a fact or bluff? Can you please type in your answer? Now, while waiting for your answer, let me greet Eliza Altea Florido and Chilian Macaya. Also to Jonel Magbato, Joseph Suarez. Good morning po. So students, what is your answer with this statement? Is it a fact or bluff? If your answer is fact, then you got it right. So remember the formula, if we're going to get our maximum heart rate, it's 220 minus your age. So definitely, this could vary, okay, with your heart rate, particularly for resting heart rate and maximum heart rate. Yeah, very good, Almar. Yes, sir, for getting the correct answer. Let's move on to the next. Pacing monitors or adjusts one's participation or effort is through a scale. Okay, pacing as a physiological indicator. Do you think this kind of indicator consists of or is measured, okay, within a scale? Is this a fact or a bluff? What is your answer, viewers and students? All right, so the answer is, okay, now the answer is, yes, that's right, it's a bluff. Now remember, if it monitors or adjusts one's participation through a scale, like for example the Borg scale, that is what we call RPE, or rate of perceived exertion. Let's have another one. Monitoring of heart rate will allow you to check on the transition of activities from moderate to vigorous intensity level. Is this a fact or bluff? So while waiting for your answer, let me greet Jeg David. Good morning sa'yo. So please type in your answer. The answer is, it's a fact. Very good, students. And then, let's have another statement. Analyzing one's physiological indicators results in monitoring the impact of recreational activities participation to fitness level. So what could be your answer for this? Is this a fact or bluff? While waiting, let me greet Maria Janina Toledo. So please type in your answer. Is this a fact or a bluff? If your answer is fact, then you are correct. So last time we talked about the different physiological indicators. I hope you could still remember this, okay? And you're able to appreciate the different camping and swimming activities that we discussed last week. So now, let's have another activity, and this is entitled Connect the Dot. Now, there will be different images that you can see, and you just have to connect the dots that represent the specific image related to this activity. So we have the activities camping and snorkeling. Okay, so camping, that was our previous lesson. So now you can have a bird's eye view with our lesson today. So we're going to start with camping. Can you think of a word that is related to this activity? Students, can you name a certain image here that is related with camping? Or if you're gonna go snorkeling or camping first, okay, what is an essential thing that you have to bring? All right. Yes, if you're thinking about a tent, then you are correct. Very good, Jeg David. So her answer is, Jeg's answer is tent. Let's move on to snorkeling. Okay. Now, can you think of a word that can be used with a snorkeling activity? So this time, let's have snorkeling. Look at the following images, and I want you to connect it or just type in your answer sa ating comment box. What object or what accessories here that is related with snorkeling? Yes, if your answer is, yeah, we have their goggles, then you are correct. Okay. So this is one accessory that you can use in a snorkeling activity. Now let's go back with camping. Can you guess another object that is related or can be used if you and your friends go camping? Can you give another word? Yes. Okay. Jeg's answer again. Okay, we call it we call it a flashlight. Okay. Yes, we have there the flashlight. Okay. Although ang answer ni Jeg ay may bag siya, no? Okay, later on we'll go with the correct terminology for that. But yes, it's a kind of bag. Let's move on to snorkeling. Let's go back with snorkeling. Can you think of another equipment or accessory related with this activity? Yes, we do have. Yeah, very good. Yeah, the answer one answer is the snorkel. Yes, that's also one accessory used for this activity. So let's go back. Last one for camping, no? Jeg, yeah, we usually call it as backpack. Yes, that's right. So remember, um, backpack, this is very essential since we have to put the things na kakailanganin natin when we engage into camping. So it's called backpack. Now we have the last one for snorkeling. I guess you could already guessed the answer. Okay, the last one is we have there the swimming fins. Okay, sometimes it's also called diving fins. Very good answer, particularly Jeg David. Good answers for this activity. So these are some of the accessories, the things or equipment that can be used in a camping or snorkeling activity. Now, this time, we have here, I want you to answer and complete the following open and ended statements. So at least you could gauge what could be the difference, anong pagkakaiba at pagkakatulad ng camping. That's our previous lesson. And now, a new topic, which is about snorkeling. Can you tell me, okay, ano kaya ang similarities ng camping and snorkeling? Can you type in your answers, students, sa ating comment box? All right, so sample answer that we can answer for this. The camping and snorkeling are both recreational activities. Is it indoor or outdoor? Yes, that's correct. It's the both of these activities are outdoor recreational activities. Very good. How about number 2? Camping is different from snorkeling because ano naman kaya ang kanilang pagkakaiba? Okay? Yeah, so they can be different. Yeah, yes, from the equipment use and the skills needed if you engage to this activity. Good work. Yeah, so this could be simple answers. What could be the your idea kung ano ang camping at snorkeling activity? So good work, students. Now this time, since we can, I know you're excited na sa ating week 5 lesson. So let's start our lesson for week 5. And we're going to talk about outdoor recreational activities. So particularly, we have there snorkeling. Now, let me emphasize ang ating most essential learning competency. So observes personal safety protocol. We have there the dehydration, to avoid dehydration, overexertion, hypothermia, and hyperthermia during a moderate, vigorous physical activity participation. Now, I also want you to bear in mind our specific objectives. So we are going to discuss the nature and background of snorkeling. Another one, I want you to recognize the importance of outdoor activities safety protocol. And the last is for our activity, determine the basic prevention, the treatment for specific conditions during a moderate, vigorous physical activity participation. So let's now start learning about snorkeling. Now let's have the definition of snorkeling. This term, snorkeling, comes from the word snorkel, a J-shaped breathing tube, and defined as swimming underwater or just near the surface with a full face snorkel mask or with snorkel and a diving mask. So here, snorkeling is one of the best but simple way, to see, discover, and appreciate the underwater life. And aside from that, it will not allow you. It won't allow you. It will allow you not only to experience kung ano man ang beauty ng marine life, but you can also swim with them. And guys, it is not only used for recreational purpose, but it will also help you attain yung overall fitness of a person. Since, you have to swim, for example, you're going to flutter kick. So, ang different body parts will actually work out, like for particularly yung quadriceps ninyo, yung calves, your ankles, yung mga hip flexors, shoulders, and even your core muscles. Okay, so that's about the characteristic and nature of snorkeling. Now this time, let's find out the different basic equipment in snorkeling. So we have there the first one. You need a snorkel. Now this is a device used for breathing air from above the surface when the wearer's head is facing downwards in the water with the mouth and the nose submerged. So for a snorkel, this is basically composed, yan makikita nyo sa picture. There is a tube called, ang tawag natin dyan ay barrel, and there is, this is the barrel, and then we have there the mouthpiece. Now, this kind of equipment makes it possible para sa isang snorkeler to breathe at the surface while the face is submerged in water. So we have there the snorkel. Another basic equipment that you need. So you also need the diving mask. Sometimes it's called swimming goggles. Let's define this equipment. It is an equipment that allows underwater divers to see clearly underwater. Now, meaning to say, itong mga diving masks or swimming goggles, this serves as a viewing device. You know, without the mask, maaaring everything we viewed underwater will be unclear. Kasi the airspace yung created in the mask, it will help you see clearly underwater. Now, let's have another basic equipment. We have there the swim fins. Sometimes it's called snorkeling fins or diving fins. And these are fin-like accessories worn on the feet, legs, yung iba naman on the hand, to aid a snorkeler when he moves through the water. And when you use swim fins, these are obviously wider and have larger surface area sa inyong mga paa. Whereas as they encounter more water, okay, this the more it could produce resistance. So those are the three basic equipment if you're going to participate in a snorkeling activity. This time, let us know the different benefits of snorkeling. So we know that this is a recreational activity, okay? So it can make us relax, okay, have fun. But aside from that, let us know the different benefits of this activity. Let's start with a stress reliever. So especially if you love water, okay, you love water activities, it can help you relieve stress, or it can help you be free from the anxiety that you are experiencing. Now, remember, snorkeling can, with the movement, it can be, the movements that we perform as we snorkel, it can release endorphins that can make you feel better. And somehow you could also it would also increase your self-confidence. And aside from that, meron din siyang mga mental health benefits. Okay? And aside from that, when you do this kind of activity, you can control yung mouth breathing, wherein it is definitely a requirement for snorkelers. Now, same thing with this na pag ginagawa nyo ang mga meditative breathing techniques, so this can help you relax and calm your body. Okay, so meaning to say, snorkeling regularly or can help you feel more calm and at ease through simple relaxation. Another benefit we have, it can improve your cardiovascular fitness. Okay, so what are the cardiovascular benefits of snorkeling? So as you snorkel, so since you are moving, you are swimming, there's a tendency that your heart rate will increase. And remember, if your heart rate increases, your heart pumps harder and it grows stronger. And tatandaan natin, if we engage to activities that can improve your cardiovascular endurance, or it can improve your cardiovascular fitness, it could decrease the risk of certain health problems, okay, or heart, specifically mga heart problems such as coronary heart disease or mga heart failure, okay, or yung high cholesterol and high blood pressure. So meaning to say, snorkeling will help you build greater lung capacity kasi with this activity, you are forced to hold your breath underwater for a sustained period of time. And lastly, it can relieve pain and aches. So snorkeling, it can have an added benefit of providing healthy exercise, especially sa mga nakakaranas ng mga joint pain or stiffness. So like for example, no, as yung gentle rocking motion ng water, it would create a perfect balance between yung resistance and yung comfort para sa mga stiff joints uh, ng muscles. So, ang snorkeling, it would require constant movement. So, it will allow your muscles to move in a wide range, and yung constant movement of your muscles and the water flow. So, this will quickly loosen stiff muscles and joints. So, yan ang ating mga benefits if you participate in a certain snorkeling activity. This time, we have here important reminders when you engage to snorkeling. So especially if you are a beginner with this activity, if you would if you want to try this kind of activity, especially if the situation is okay, we are free from virus. Now, I want you to remember yung word na snorkel. So let's start with letter S. So stay close to shore, especially if you're a beginner. Now, pwede nyong ma-misjudge yung capacity at yung endurance ninyo, okay? Before knowing na napagod or exhausted na kayo. So as a beginner, somehow just stay close, okay? Sa shore, then little by little, if you're ready enough, okay, you can go farther, right? And then for letter N is never do it alone. Now, in this case, make sure na meron kayong kabady so that it's very important, just in case may emergency or negative situation that may arise or whatever happened, someone is there to help. Another reminder, so we have there one up and one down, meaning to say, again and again, this is in case of emergency. So one is close to the shore while one is underwater. So again, if, for example, the snorkeler has a problem, one can help or seek help. Another one, letter R, is rain check. In this case, before you engage to snorkeling activities, you have to check yung weather forecast and also yung condition ng sea because, for example, yung wind, it can cause waves that will eventually make your snorkeling activity challenging. Another one is letter K. We have there, you have to know your surroundings. Well, here you have to know the area, or for example, the tides or yung mga marine life with this particular area. Dapat alam mo yung mga marine life that are known to be aggressive. And here you also know yung mga conservation rules. You have to bear in mind with that. Another one is energy retention. So this is one way not to overestimate your limits. With this, you can use some flotation device, yung mga vest, okay, so that it can conserve your energy. And the last one, we have there, leave them alone. Ano kaya yung leave them alone? So in here, you don't need to touch yung mga marine life for the reason that you might destroy yung kanilang habitat or maybe masaktan mo sila. In the same way, kapag ang marine life naman ay known to be aggressive, then you might be suddenly stung or you might get hurt if you touch them. So somehow, just if you're amazed with these marine life, you appreciate this one. So maintain a safe distance, okay? Or even yung somehow yung sudden movement, be careful on that because it might startle them. And I hope you will be reminded if pwede nang mas safe nang lumabas at gawin itong klaseng activity. Then please remember the important things to remember when you do the snorkeling activity. Remember, snorkel. Now at this juncture, we are now going to study yung sinasabi nating mga bodily conditions that may occur, that you may experience, okay, when you engage moderate and vigorous activity. We are going to start with the first bodily condition. And we have here dehydration. I know you're familiar with this, but let's review what is dehydration. It is an abnormal depletion of body fluids, and it happens when the body loses a greater amount of water than the amount being taken in. So, mostly 60% ng katawan natin is made up of water. So, our body can constantly lose water through breathing, when you sweat, or whenever you urinate. So, in this, or if you do not take enough fluids naman, then this could also be one reason para ikaw ay ma-dehydrated. Now, we have here such signs and symptoms. We have there, if you feel thirsty, headache, nakakaramdam din kayo ng dry mouth. You could also check yung dark-colored pee, urine. Now, remember, we will know if we are hydrated kung ang urine natin or ihi natin, it is light-colored, parang lemonade juice. And if you think dark-colored siya, para siyang parang apple juice ang color niya na, then this simply means that you are already dehydrated. Now, the last one is you could also feel tiredness or fatigue, okay, after doing or during an activity or after an activity. So these are the signs and symptoms. Now, for you to prevent this condition, well, definitely, you really need to drink water. Okay? So throughout the day, including at meals, and also pag kumain kayo ng mga fruits and vegetables wherein it's the ingredients, okay, it contains high in water. And when you engage to activities, avoid nyo na lang yung soda, especially mga vigorous activity, Avoid soda, alcohol, or caffeinated drinks. And last one is always check your urine if it's light-colored or dark-colored. Now, if in case you're able to experience na itong tinatawag nating dehydration, so what could be the first aid treatment? Now, definitely, there should be an increase of water intake. Aside from that, if feeling dehydrated, tiredness, yung fatigue na nararanasan, headache, you would help the individual to loosen tight clothing and somehow remove kung sakali yung mga unnecessary clothing. And in case na the individual or the victim is because of the extreme heat or dehydration, better na mag-replace tayo ng tinatawag nating electrolytes. Now, remember, ang electrolytes, these are essential minerals that is found in our blood, sweat, and urine, and these carry an electric charge. Ang electrolytes, usually, yung mga minerals, for example, we have their sodium and potassium. This usually help your body regulate ng mga fluid levels. So, do you know we have different kinds of electrolyte drink? But like, for example, the Gatorade and some other dehydration drinks, but you can make your own, or yung tinatawag nating homemade electrolyte drinks. Like for example, no, you will just be needing ng water, ng juice na for example extract from lemon or pwedeng orange, and then lagyan nyo din siya ng a little bit of salt. Okay, yung iba naman dinadagdagan nila or nilalagyan nila ng honey. So like for example, no, to make your own homemade electrolyted drink, for example, you'll be needing 1 and 1/2 or 2 cups man ng water. It depends sa gusto mo. And then, if you're using, for example, lemon juice or orange juice, at least 1/2 cup ng lemon juice or orange juice. You may add 1/8 or 1/4 teaspoon naman ng salt. Gusto niyo ng sea salt if you have, or Himalayan salt. And if you want some honey, at least 2 teaspoon of honey. With those ingredients, you can already make your own electrolyted drink. So that's for dehydration. Let's move on to the next bodily condition. The next one is overexertion. Now, this occurs when you push yourself beyond your physical limits and often results in pain, inflammation, or other injuries. Now, meaning to say, overexertion, ang isang individual, kumbaga, you push yourself too hard when it comes to activities, physical activities. And this involves yung mga physical or mental effort na beyond na sa inyong current abilities. Or somehow, this may be cause of repetitive movement. Okay, so or maaari ding incorrect way of doing a task, somehow improper yung paglift nyo ng objects, or merong abrupt and forceful movement. And also, the last one is if you're doing this activity or if you're engaging to a prolonged activity. So that's for overexertion. Let's now find out ano ang mga signs and symptoms ng overexertion. So we have their pain. So most likely, nakakaramdam tayo ng pain within our joints or muscles. Okay? And somehow, makakaramdam tayo ng mga burning or tingling sensation. Now, overuse injury, it's because of a repetitive strain injury. Na especially because for a long period of time, you engage to this a certain activity or wala pang rest, no? Slowly, this could develop over time. Now, how are you going to prevent overexertion? So we have their warm up. Okay, especially if you are going to do a strenuous activity, no, you have to do some warm up so that it can prevent you or it can reduce yung muscle soreness and lessen yung mga risk injury. We also have there, take breaks every 30 minutes, okay, if possible, especially if you're a beginner. And then, if you are going to lift heavy objects, always remember that do not use your legs. Now, you have to use your legs rather than your back. So, yung iba, no, you have to at least, no, you have to, kumbaga, bend your knees if you're going to lift a heavy object. And aside from that, so very essential that you would include a rest one day, depende kung ano kasing level of fitness nyo na rin, okay? At least include 1 day of rest per week in your fitness routine, especially if you're very active when it comes to physical activities. Now remember, when it comes to rest, no, yung tinatawag nating muscle hypertrophy and bone hypertrophy, we're in, for example, sa muscle hypertrophy, whenever you rest, okay, so dyan nagtitake place yung tinatawag nating repair process to make your muscles stronger and bigger. Okay, so very important that you have to rest. And then, if you're experiencing overexertion, this could be the first aid treatment. So the first one, you have to stop the activity. Okay, and you have to take some rest. Sa iba naman, you can use ice or heat compress para naman sa mga muscle and joint muscle soreness or joint stiffness na inyong nararanasan. So at first, better na cold compress muna ang gamitin, ice compress, and then followed by for the next day or after 2 days you can have the heat compressed. So those could be the first aid treatment if you are experiencing overexertion. Let's have another one. We have their hyperthermia. As you can see in the picture, there would be an alarming rise in the body temperature. And this is an effect of exercising in a very humid environment. So, one can experience hyperthermia because yung body natin, there is an inability na to regulate its temperature, its normal temperature over a high environmental heat. So what could be the signs and symptoms if you're experiencing hyperthermia? So you might experience muscle cramps, okay? Kasi may mga muscle cramps because we have ang hyperthermia. This can be categorized in 3 stages. So later on, I would let you know what are these 3 stages. Aside from that, you could feel, because of the very high temperature, profuse sweating. You have weak pulse. You can feel yung moist or cool skin. Somehow, you can experience dizziness and shallow yung inyong paghinga. And somehow, dahil sa with your high body temperature, you can see that you have flushed skin already, and somehow it can alter your mental state o ang inyong behavior when you experience this condition. So sabi ko nga, there are 3 categories for hyperthermia. We have there the heat cramps, and this is considered yung early sign ng heat illness and dehydration. And typically, ang isang tao ay nakaka-experience siya ng cramping sa specific muscle. Meanwhile, may tinatawag tayong heat exhaustion, and this is more serious heat illness, okay? And is caused by excessive loss of body, okay? Kaya nakakaranas ng prolonged sweating, due to prolonged sweating. And the last one is heat stroke. Ang heat stroke, this is known as a medical catastrophe that requires an immediate medical attention. Now, how are we going to prevent this hyperthermia? So the prevention is you have to limit or avoid activities in the heat of the day. So meaning to say, no, do not engage to a certain physical activities wherein mga oras na direct ang sunlight, usually sa tanghali, no. So better you have to keep yourself cool. So you can use sunscreen, no? It could protect your skin from the sun's harmful rays. And then you can also wear cotton next to skin. Also, you have to rehydrate by drinking lots of water. And you may take a cool shower or bath. So these are some of the prevention. Now, let's have here the first aid treatment. So yung first category, let's have the heat cramps. So first here, you have to move ang isang individual or the victim in a cooler area, so out of direct sunlight. And somehow you can massage yung specific body part wherein the victim is experiencing muscle cramps. So you have to gently massage it, and very important then that you have to rehydrate the victim. So that's for the heat cramps. Let's now have the first aid treatment for heat exhaustion. So same thing, let the person or victim rest in cool places. Give them, rehydrate the victim by giving drink fluids. And you can give them some cooling measures. Pag sinabi natin cooling measures, no, it's either you place a fan, you use eye packs, particularly ilalagay sa neck, sa groin, okay? And lastly, loosen the clothing of the victim. Lastly, for heat strokes, remember these needs medical attention. So while waiting for a medical help, no, or medical attention, you might uh, so still get the victim out of the sun and place him sa isang cool area as possible as you can. And aside from that, you can try yung mga cooling measures. So ice pack, okay? So sa armpit, groin, neck, or even sa back. Makakatulong din if you loosen yung tight clothing niya and elevate his feet. So another cooling measure, you can use a fan, okay, or handheld fans para sa a victim na nakaka-experience ng heat stroke. So these are the things that you have to remember if a certain individual is experiencing hyperthermia. And the last bodily condition, we have there the hypothermia. So this one is the opposite of hyperthermia. So this is a condition of having an abnormally low body temperature, and it's caused by cold or wet or weather, which cools the body at a rate faster than the body can produce heat. So hyperthermia, so meaning to say there is a prolonged exposure to very cold temperatures. And when you are exposed to cold temperatures, ang body natin, our body begins to lose heat faster than it's produced. So lengthy exposure will eventually use up yung stored up energy natin sa body, and which will lead to lower body temperature. Now, what could be the signs and symptoms? So you might feel dizziness, nausea, you have difficulty speaking, so somehow slurred speech ka na, and you also have weak pulse. So these are the signs and symptoms. Now, ano naman kaya ang prevention? You can check the weather conditions muna, no, in advance, before you decide to do a certain activity, and somehow you layer your clothes to trap multiple layers of air. You might use shirt, nag-sweater ka, or might use jacket, or you might use some bonnet or some headgears, okay? So that could be the prevention. And lastly, we have there the first aid treatment. What could you do just in case you are already experiencing, or a friend of yours, someone you know, for example, is experiencing hypothermia. So this time, you have to move the person naman sa warm or dry place. And then also, kung because of the weather, dahil umuulan, malamig, you remove wet clothing and replace it with dry ones. Makakatulong din if you could use blanket to insulate them, or somehow you provide some skin-to-skin contact. Okay, kunyari, for example, back-to-back, or for example, if you rub your hand and then it would produce heat, no? You can give it to the person who is experiencing hypothermia. And lastly, if the person is conscious naman, you provide him with warm drinks. So I hope you will remember this one, this first aid treatment in case someone you know is experiencing hypothermia. All right. So ayan ang ating lesson. We talk about snorkeling and some of the prevention, first aid treatment, and signs and symptoms of bodily conditions that one might experience during a certain activity. Now, for me to check what have you learned from this activity, let's have here the activity, what's wrong. So I'll just give you a scenario and I want you to answer the questions. I want you to write your answers sa ating comment box. Okay? Now let me read to you the situation. So this is the situation I want you to analyze, and later on, I would ask you some questions. Now, Friday night, Juan and his friends planned to go to the beach the next day. On their way to the location, they decided to have a snorkeling activity. They arrived at the beachfront around 6 o'clock in the morning, and they noticed that the rain is pouring and the wind is blowing heavily. They did not make a reservation for a cottage nor bring a tent to use, and they looked for a tree that served as their temporary shelter while waiting for the rain to stop. Then a few hours later, the rain still pouring and the wind picks up further, and Juan starts shivering. His friends thought drift as they tried to figure out why is he so cold, though Juan wears a cotton shirt under his long sleeve shirt. One of his friends decided to call for help to immediately treat his condition. When the medical personnel arrived, they were informed that Juan is experiencing hypothermia. Yeah. So let's find out. Okay, this is the situation of Juan. Now I want you to answer this one. If you were Juan, okay, what are the things you haven't considered before going to the beach? So you can type in your answer sa ating comment box. And while waiting for your answer, let me greet Elnora Baldonadi. Also kay Tricker Whitey, good morning. Good morning din kay Emily Pugal Braga. Watching from LCES, West Isulan District SK Division. Kay Arlene Cabang Dizon. Watching from Central School, Sultan Kudarat Division. Good morning po. Hi sa'yo, Delisay Montano and Divina Bing Martin. So if you're Juan, what are the things that you have to consider before going to the beach? Okay. All right. Yes. You have to consider, tama, yung checking. You have to check the weather condition, even your physical readiness. Okay, before engaging to such outdoor activities. Okay, very good on that. And if you are Juan's friend naman, what are you going to do to manage the situation while waiting for the medical personnel to arrive? So, with that kind of condition, anong pwede nating itulong kay Juan while waiting for a medical personnel? All right. So, your answer is, so immediately look for a warmer place. And tama yun, no? You have to change yung wet clothes ni Juan with dry ones. Or if you have some blanket, yes, it would help insulate Juan. Or if conscious naman si Juan, no, you can provide him some warm drinks. All right, very good answers, students. Okay, and before we end, no, I want to know yung inyong learning for today's lesson. So starting with, I realized that, ano kaya ang inyong natutunan for our Week 5 lesson? Yes, you can type in your answer sa ating comment box. Yeah, good morning then, Marichu Alcala. Ayan, okay. Sabi, I realized that before you engage to an activity, okay, you have to check yung weather condition and your body condition. All right? Or how about pag nag-snorkel during a snorkeling activity, no? Yes, during a snorkeling activity, somehow it's better if you have a buddy with you. Never touch marine life. Okay, and then after nyan, pwede rin, yes, you can have, it's better to hydrate yourself. Okay, very good. Thank you, students and viewers. So today we were able to discuss um, about snorkeling and the different bodily conditions that you have to bear in mind when that this may arise during a vigorous or moderate physical activities. And with that, thank you sa lahat for your comments and suggestions. You are very free, and we appreciate your comments and suggestions. Just email us at edtech at deped.gov.ph. Once again, marami pong salamat sa inyong pakikinig. And this has been your Shooter Shen. I hope you were able to value and you were able to have fun. Okay? Well, learning, and I also want you to remember, please remain to be physically active. Okay? Be tougher with your excuses and dare to be fit. Till next time, learners, thank you. Keep safe, everybody. God bless.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETUlay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETUlay free online tutorial session sa Filipino. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETUlay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!